Welcome to the QuickBooks University. My name is Matt Hultquist. I wanted to show you the chart of accounts in this video because this can be very confusing for a lot of people when they start to use QuickBooks and understanding this chart of accounts, okay? That's essentially an accounting term, but it is essentially what it is, okay? It's a listing of all of your accounts that you have in QuickBooks, okay? And an account is something that you have to assign all of your transactions to, okay? It could be revenue, it could be expense, it could be some kind of asset like a checking account or inventory, okay? And the chart of accounts is a list. It's simply just a listing of all of those accounts, okay? I'm going to show you how this all kind of ties together, okay? So in QuickBooks, we go to the chart of accounts, and the way you can do this, if we go to the home screen, you can look up here. There's a chart of accounts button. You can also go to the company drop-down menu. And if you look down in here, let's see, chart of accounts right there. Okay. So we click on that and it pulls it up. Now, when you first set up QuickBooks, it's going to give you a default chart of accounts based on, your setup and the type of business you are. All right. But when it's set up, you can always make adjustments to it. All right. And here's what I want to show you is when you pull this up, you're going to see you've got these columns here. These first ones are bank accounts. Okay. That's the account type in QuickBooks. Then we have accounts receivable, other current assets, fixed assets, accounts payable, liabilities, and then all the way down here to equity. Okay, so this first part here is what's called these accounts make up what's called the balance sheet. All right, so if I pull up a balance sheet in the report center, let me just show you this here. Okay, these are all the accounts, okay, that are in that chart of accounts for the balance sheet. Okay, it's the assets, the liabilities, and the equity. All right, so assets, liabilities, and equity. So these accounts listed on the top make up the balance sheet. Now, the accounts below here make up all the profit and loss, which is all the income and all the expenses. All right. Now, so again, how this all plays into the final financial statements. If we pull up a profit and loss statement, you'll notice that these are all those profit and loss, the revenue and expense accounts, okay? So that's how this ties into your financial statements. Now, a couple of tips on setting up your chart of accounts. First of all, we want to keep this what I like to call nice and tight, okay? So what I mean by that is your account should have, your accounts, the listing should have broad categories, okay? And the reason for that is when you pull up a profit and loss, for example, okay, you really just want broad categories. So if I go up here and I click collapse, you'll see that these are just broad categories. We have construction income, and we can click this to see the detail underneath it. Automobile, these are the expenses for auto. We can click to see that detail where we've got fuel and repairs and maintenance, and all these other ones. Okay, so this is nice and tight. You can print it on one page and read your profit and loss. All right. Now, where a lot of people get into trouble is where they start creating accounts for every expense. Okay, so for example, instead of having sub-accounts under these broad category accounts, like under payroll liabilities, they'll create an account for every one of these. The 401k is an account, like just a main account, 401k plan liability, et cetera, and they'll do the same with expenses. And sometimes they'll even create accounts for specific expenses, like Dell computer, all right? That you don't want to do that, all right? If anything, if you want to add more detail, add in sub-accounts, all right? Like under this example for payroll liabilities. This is the broad main account, and then this is all the detail underneath that broad account. All right, and it's very simple to set up sub-accounts. Okay, so if I right-click this and go to Edit Account, all right, you're going to see there's a checkbox, sub-account of payroll liabilities. All right. So again, keep it broad and then put the detail in as a sub-account. And you can even add a sub-account of a sub-account. Okay, so you can add as much detail as you want underneath these sub-accounts. But the main point being, keep it broad and then narrow it down with sub-accounts. All right. So that's a basic understanding of the chart of accounts. You don't have to make it too complicated. You can leave your default chart of accounts. Usually, you're going to have to make some adjustments to it, which is pretty simple to do in QuickBooks. But keep it nice and tight and create the detail in those sub-accounts. All right. You want to learn more about QuickBooks, head on over to QuickBooks University. It's qbuniversity.org, where we've got the full set of training tutorials with personal one-on-one support when you become a member. I love helping people out and teaching them about how to use QuickBooks to the fullest extent so they can understand the business, so they can not only use the software right, but when they are able to use it right and they get good financial statements, they can make sound decisions in their business. The whole point of this is to help make businesses more successful. So head on over, qbuniversity.org, and I look forward to seeing you over there.